Hello everyone. So I get a lot of questions about the Yarbo and what do we do when we have cars in the driveway? Well, that can be a problem because we've mapped out the entire driveway, but there are cars in the driveway. So what we need to do to fix something like that is to actually create a new map. So I do have a map that is created that is for the entire driveway. There's Sarah. I tried to not get her in the camera, but I got her for a second. But we're going to go ahead and map this entire driveway. So what I have is I'm going to call this my two-car driveway for this. So basically it's going to have the Yarbo coming out straight out pretty much at this line, and it's going to do everything that way. So I'm going to hand the phone to my beautiful assistant here. Hello. And get this going. So the nice thing about Yarbo is you can create different maps on it, and so we're going to create this map and do it for, like I said, do it for our driveway when there's two cars parked. Now, a lot of people have asked that before. Hey guys, how's it going? The boys out actually manually shoveling. We're pretty happy about that. So just so you can kind of see what's going on the screen here, we have Harry the Yarbo, and we're going to activate him here in a second. Now I do have this in the grass, and it is, this part of the yard was a garden last year, and so I do recommend, if you're going to put your Yarbo in your yard, as you can see, it is going to tear it up a little bit in the winter. And so, and one of the other options is to have it on a cement part of your driveway. We could have done it over there, but over here I didn't mind. I'm going to replant this in the summer. And if you notice, we have the metal studs on them. I'll pull this out. So we're going to activate Yarbo, and we are going to turn him on. All right, yes, we are going to stop charging. Move them out. Now I'm actually going to raise the auger, and feel free to get a little closer to this. I'm going to raise that auger. As you can see, a lot of people kind of are curious. Not very loud at all. Actually, going to... Okay. So, some of the controls, you can raise and lower this manually if you'd like. This does go all the way down. We'll get a close-up shot down here, but you can see the metal. I mean, we're right there on the cement. You could have this, once it's going, scraping cement. I do recommend doing this during a time like this. I came out here with Henley earlier, and as you can see, we cleared off the driveway. I cleared it off all the way to the edges. So we're going to have this going right up to the edge. I originally had this out going into a little bit, like maybe 6-7 inches into the lawn, which for winter, I don't suggest that. It's not a big deal, but if you come and look over here, we have the winter tracks on, and the winter tracks have metal studs. And so those metal studs, kind of like I was talking a minute ago, when Yarbo comes onto here and turns, it's going to rough up the ground. And when it gets onto the snow and it's trying to do its thing, it's going to rough up the ground. So I am going to put this in and let's see. I'm gonna have to, it's giving me an error message that my module's blocked. So I need to check that out. I'm not really sure what that's about, but right now it's not a big deal because so As you can see, that's on low. We can turn that on high. Really gets going. But for what we're going to do right now, we don't need to. I don't know why it's saying module black, but I'm going to check that out here in a little bit. So right now here, we are going to go into map mode. So map, I'm going to say modify. We're going to add an area. See, we're right here. Okay, so it wants me to start. I have it kind of set up in my starting position I want. But it asks you to drive the Yarbo on the edge and click start to add the work area. So right now we are going to start. So I'm going to go nice and slow. One thing I found is I do like to go slow. You start to go fast and it does, it will curve back and forth a little bit. Alright, we're going to, I'm going to go slow and I'm going to keep this right on the cement. You feel free to get in front of me, Sarah, so people can get a good view of what's going on instead of my wonderful behind. But I'm going to go nice and slow here. It allows me to really keep this precise on the cement. One feature I do wish it had is I wish it had a straight feature, so I could just tell it to go straight forward. But right now I'm just basically controlling this with my thumb, which makes it kind of wobble a little bit back and forth. I could hook this up to the controller. I might get a little better of a connection with that. But my big thing I'm doing here is I'm really trying to just keep it on the cement. There we go. It's getting a nice connection there. I'm really just paying attention to the tires and the treads, keeping them on the cement. And there's not a time limit on this, so there is no nothing that's making it so I have to have it going really fast. So it's kind of fun and a little boring, but that's all right. So this is the part that we're going to try to get a little precise. I can see here, if you look down here on the ground, this is a place where I did have the tracks on the grass at one time, and you can kind of see it roughed up the grass. But you know what's digging with these tracks is this Yarbo weighs over 100 pounds, and so these tracks with metal studs, they are going to dig up your lawn a little bit, especially if you get to a point where there's a lot of snow, and there's a lot of snow and it's got some resistance to what it's doing. So the other day we did get a decent snow, and when I was doing it, it was really slushy, and so that slushy snow does tend to build up a little bit. I mean, what you would think of it with a regular snowblower is exactly what you're going to get with your Yarbo. So, you know, if you have real slushy snow, that's if you have kids in the house, this might be a good thing for them to do, because they got those nice thumbs and fingers that they've been using on their tablets all their life, where my old fingers don't want to keep going straight on this little joystick. If I'm going straight, it's good, but once I start wobbling back and forth, that's where it but that's why I'm going slow. I want to get really precise. It's basically recording my edge. So once we get this map built, it's going to do everything in between. So that's basically the only job you have to have, is when you are getting the once you get the Yarbo, the edge of it mapped out, because this does not require wires or anything in your lawn like some of the older technology. It wants to have wires for your borders, things like that, where this does not need that. So we're going to get up here. Now this is a part that I really need to make sure to do, because you can see up here, I also, when I mapped this before, I got onto the grass a little bit, and you can kind of see right there where it tore the grass up just a tiny bit. But again, I'll just, it's a good little aeration, so we'll just make sure to seed that over the summer. And this summer, when Yarbo is doing the mowing, why, it's gonna be able to go right above that. So, all right. Now you'll see here, we're getting close to the road. So be careful not to just walk backwards into the road there, Sarah. But I am going to get this fairly close. That's about as close as I'm going to get there. So we could get to the very edge. I'm actually going to create another map that will cover this part of the driveway, so I can come out and keep an eye on it while it's happening. Obviously, one of the big things you want to do with the Yarbo is you want it to just come out and do this for you. So I want to have this in a safe area, so when I'm at work and I send the Yarbo off to snowblow our driveway, I don't want to worry about it going out into the road. Someone hits this is going to be like hitting a giant rock. This is 120, 130 pounds on its own, and as you can see, it's a pretty decent size. Woo, that's nice. That's a nice. A little over halfway done here. Kind of the fun part of doing this, you can kind of get really precise. One thing you do need to be careful of that I found, you notice here the ground is lower than the driveway, but when you get to places like this here where the ground actually comes up a little bit, you might have a little bit, you need to be careful, because the Yarbo, when you have this thing dragging on the ground, it will catch that. And when it catches it, the Yarbo likes to kind of turn, because it's one way or the other, because it's pushing against something. Now this bumper here, it will notice that there's if it hits something, but there's no really system on that bottom there that tells it. So it just thinks, hey, this is snow, and it's going to keep pushing. After about 15 or 20 seconds though, it stops and backs up and moves over a little bit. So we're getting close to done. We're about, I would say, what, about 2/3 done. And I'm just taking my time. Luckily, it's a beautiful day out right now in Iowa. We're real nice out. I appreciate whoever's watching and all the people that are watching. Make sure you jump over to the Iowa Home Robotics Facebook page. We'll share this on that page also, and go ahead and follow us there. We're getting close. I think we have to hit to like the middle of March, and then we'll start to be able to do our live videos on the Iowa Home Robotics page, which is nice. I also am, we're also putting these videos out on Iowa Home Robotics YouTube page. At some point in the future, we'll start doing some live videos there. Unfortunately, here in Iowa, fortunately for some people, unfortunately for us, we haven't had a lot of snow here in Iowa. So I might come out here if it gets a little colder and we don't have as much slush. I might throw some snow out from the yard like I did a couple weeks ago. I basically reverse shoveled the driveway. I shoveled the yard into the driveway and then ran Yarbo just for the fun of it. So this is a place where I really want to get fine-tuned, because I did also go into the yard here, and that blade on the bottom of the auger does like to catch on the grass there, and I didn't like that as much. Nice. So, just keeping it right, perfect on here. We're getting real close here, probably another 20 feet of driveway. And we will then complete our 2 cars in the driveway map. So what I'll probably do for something like this is I will map this part, and then I'll actually map another part on the back of the driveway there, so when we have snow and it's the weekend and we're both parked in the driveway, we can run it here and then pull the cars forward and then have it run again on the back part of the driveway. And anybody out there, feel free to hit us up. We are happy to do live demos. So, you know, if you want to come out here and watch something like this being done, or you want to watch it be done when there's actually snow on the ground, we're happy to do that. Okay, so I did create that map, and it went over top of our other map. We can kind of really zoom in here, but you can see I did a full mapping of the driveway there. You can kind of see how I went out of bounds. You can see the other map that I have that does the entire driveway. You can see that yellow line. So I'm going to go and redo that part too at some point. But what we do here is we're going to say next. It's mapped it. So at this point, it wants us to slide on the boundary of the area to select the direction of the snow blowing. Well, we are going to have that go along this outside line. So you can kind of see it turning yellow there. And I just have it throwing that way. Normally in the, what we have out here is in Iowa, and just the place we're at, wind does tend to go to the east. And so I have it blowing to the east. So basically it's going to blow all the snow over there. We do sometimes park, just like the truck here, we do sometimes park there in the snow, so I don't want it thrown there. Okay, so now that I've told it to do my boundaries, I'm going to say next. And this is where we could set up our different settings. This is overlap. I like to have my overlap at 11 inches, so basically it's going to go over. I'm going to have my first run go on turbo. I'm going to have it do a circle, which basically instead of going back and forth like in a parallel, it will actually do more of a circular motion. My auger, I like to have it go down pretty close. So the closest you can get it, besides 0, which I actually kind of like it to be up a tiny bit, is 0.08. There we go, 0.08. My angle, I don't mind it blowing up high for where it's at, because as you can see here, we have a lot of area. We're not worried about it hitting anything. If we're right next to the house, we might lower it more. But our deflector angle, I'm basically giving it full motion there. I'm also, on the driveway, telling it to work twice. So it's going to go out a second time. That second time, I'm going to have it run quiet. I'm still going to have it run 0.08 of an inch off. I'm giving it full range of pretty motion on there. And we're done. Now we can hit a preview button. It's kind of fun. If we hit preview, it's going to show us basically what it's going to do. So with the circle, as you can see, it's going to do kind of traditionally follow this and do its thing. So I don't need to create a pathway because it's got a pathway onto it. It has a way for it to get there. So one thing I'm going to do here, area 1, front driveway. So this is called area 3. And I am going to rename it. We're going to call this, what do we say, back drive with 2 cars. All right. I can also, I believe, go into here. Okay, we're good there. There we are. So, all your different plans, you can actually full back driveway, front driveway with 2 cars. I actually need to throw this into the work plan. So, we go here, more maps, work plan. We're going to add a work plan. This work plan is basically just going to be the back driveway with 2 cars. Work plan, we're going to call it again. Back. So what we did is we created a map, all right, but our work plan, back drive with 2 cars. So we created the map, we created the work plan. So now we have 3 work plans. We have the full back driveway, which I'm going to redo at some point so I can get the edges. But let's see, here we go. Beautiful. Now I'm going to do something here, is we're going to go into our settings, work preferences. And a work preference thing we could set, well, I need to make sure to set it back, is auger in work plan. I'm going to actually turn that off. You could turn, you could check, it's going to dock at 20%, on dock at 80%. It's going to clean our docking station, all that fun stuff. But I'm going to turn the auger off. All right, and now we are going to back driveway with 2 cars. We're going to run that. Start now. Back driveway with 2 cars disconnected. Okay, all right, so I need to add a pathway for that. Pathway to dock. All right, so we have our pathway to dock. All right. Oh, yep. So I need to open this up and see what we got there. But that is how we create a map. So when I'm going to also create a pathway and have it connected, and then we'll do a run at some point. But for any of you out there that were wondering on how to do this when you have more than one car in your driveway, or when you don't have an empty driveway, that is how to do it. So thanks everybody for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Have a great day. From Iowa Home Robotics, I'm Nicholas Ender.